Hey, what's up, Freddie? What are you doing? You going out for a smoke?
And welcome back once again to Joe the Shirts Off the Cuff. Welcome back, everybody. It is someday in June, I think. It is a Saturday, I know for a fact. Welcome back once again, everybody. Now, if you are currently listening to the show, you have even more severe issues than I do because it is a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Southern California, and I know that I'd say at least half my listeners are based here in Southern California, and if what you're doing is listening to the show, you have some really, really severe, fucked up, nasty issues. Let me tell you that right now. I mean, I know I do this, which is to keep the demons in my head quiet. If I don't have some sort of artistic expression, that's the term my therapist likes to use, and my girlfriend, and my court-appointed attorney. But if I don't have something to vent out with, I go nutsy. And if this is what you do, listening to me to keep you from going nutsy, that ship has sailed, my friends. But welcome anyway. Thank you for listening. Oh my God! What a wonderful day! It being Saturday, the 8th. Yes, first beer of the show. Now, before I get into today's topic, someone you're pissed? Question mark. Know why? Another question mark. Before I get into that, I want to cover today's birthdays because I have a really bad habit of forgetting the birthdays, and I know that despite the fact that you deny it, I know that many of you can't live without knowing whose birthday it is today. Even though I know you can all go on the internet and just look up celebrity birthdays for any day of the week, you need to hear me say it or someone say it on the radio or on the computer or somebody needs to inform you. You don't want to go working for it. You want to hear it. And you know what? I appreciate that. So I'm going to give it to you. Today being Saturday, the June 8th. Let's see. James Darren is 76. Bonnie Tyler is 61. You maybe remember her from probably one of the gayest songs that I love, Total Eclipse of the Heart. Nick Rhodes is 50 from Duran Duran. Jerry Stiller, father of Ben Stiller, is 85, which is amazing. Juliana Margulies from The Good Wife is 46. Keenan Ivory Wayans is 54. Joan Rivers is 79, and she's actually doesn't know that she's dead, but keeps talking anyway. And the one and only Kanye West is 35 and looking 25 thanks to Proactive. Anyway, those are today's birthdays. Thank you. Oh my God. Now, before we get into today's topic, someone you're pissed? Question mark. Know why? Question mark. Let's go through a couple of quick, news items that have come up throughout the day here. The Night Stalker is dead. That's right. One of Southern California's most notorious serial killers, the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, is dead. Apparently died yesterday of natural causes quite comfortably in a hospital. He was 53 years old. Now, for those of you who remember the old Night Stalker, I'm not going to go too far into this because, this guy's old news and he's dead and we don't care anymore. The Night Stalker back in the 80s was held responsible for at least 13 murders. What made him particularly scary was the fact that, unlike most serial killers, he acted more like a mass murderer in that his victims had no particular pattern to them. They were men, they were women, there were home invasions, there were attacks on the street, there were kidnappings and car attacks, there were stabbings, shootings, suffocations, stranglings, rapes, tortures. This guy did it all. And allegedly he was a Satanist, which didn't prevent him, of course, from getting married back in the late 90s. What I always thought was funny was the fact that he claimed that he was the son of Satan. He was a Satanist. He worshipped Satan, but kept trying to avoid the death penalty, which is why he was still alive up until yesterday, because he kept putting everything off. His trial transcript was 50,000 pages. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever read 50,000 pages of anything, ever, much less one person's trial transcript, okay? I don't think anybody read it. But that's how long it was, and that's why it took so long. He didn't even get an appeal until the year 2006. So there you go. He is long and gone, which leads me into what happened yesterday, which I'm not going to spend a lot of time on either, was in Santa Monica, some nutball. I don't know who he is yet. Don't care, because I've done enough of these stories. Apparently killed his father, his brother, with a shotgun, set his house on fire, shot a couple more people on the way to Santa Monica College, abducted a woman, forced her to take him to Santa Monica College, about a mile away from Santa Monica, from the beach there, the 3rd Street Promenade, 3 miles away from where our President Barack Obama was, and then killed off 2 more people at Santa Monica College, and then injured several others before he was killed himself. You know what? I'm getting a little sick and tired of these stories because it honestly, it makes it look as if living in Los Angeles really is like a Lethal Weapon movie, or a or a Die Hard movie, or any other one of those bizarre action movies from the 80s and 90s, and even today that occur in Los Angeles. It just makes it look like that's all that happens here. And it's not, okay? More often than not, these things don't happen, but these assholes feel the need to make it happen. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Fuck them. Anyway, what else have we got here? Hold on, I got more drinking to do here. Now, once again, United States teenagers prove that among the dumbest people on the planet when it comes to current trends are, of course, United States teenagers. One of the biggest, latest status symbols when it comes to teenagers is having a cracked smartphone. That's right, your cell phone, having it cracked. Every once in a while you'll see somebody, they got their phone out, you can see the screen, it's got a crack on it, looks like spider webs or veins or whatever. Well, apparently that's the new big thing. It used to be that as soon as your cell phone was dropped and it got cracked, they got hit by something, whatever, somebody left their drink on it, smack, okay, that's embarrassing. You don't like that. You tell your parents, Mom, Dad, I need a new cell phone. I need a new screen, or whatever the fuck. Well, apparently now, that's chic. That's hip. That's cool now. And what's really interesting about it is a lot of parents are pissed off at this concept because, let's face facts, the average cell phone, is not just a cell phone anymore. It's not like the old flip phones, okay? It's not just like, that's all it does is receive and make phone calls. That's not what happens anymore. More right now, smartphones, we're talking about your iPhones, anything made by Droid or BlackBerry or anything like that. These phones are the biggest sellers, outselling regular cell phones by quite a bit now. The only people that are buying just regular old cell phones are most likely collecting welfare or homeless. So the average phone that these kids are using will typically cost anywhere between $200 and $600. Not cheap. And then their parents, when they buy them their phones, I don't know why, but they buy them their phones, they give it to them, and then they buy the insurance for the phones. The insurance can range anywhere between $10 and $100 depending on what happens to the phone. So parents are buying their kids these expensive phones, are buying them the insurance programs, and then when the phone breaks and it cracks, the kids don't want a new phone. They want to keep their old phone because it looks old and banged up. This is really not all that different from when teenagers back in my day were, stealing our parents' old flannel shirts, and then teenagers before that fading and ripping their jeans, which, by the way, both those little things are back in vogue. So, once again, fuck you, American teenagers. Now, yesterday I talked quite a bit about what the American government is doing, right and wrong, mostly all wrong. Let's see about what it's doing right. Girls of any age can now buy emergency contraception. A federal appeals court has decided that to permit girls of any age to buy generic versions of emergency contraception without prescriptions, while the federal government appeals a judge's ruling allowing the sales. Beautiful. Of any age. You know what? Not that I'm advocating that girls of any age have sex. Lord knows I wouldn't want any of my nieces who are, 12 having sex right now. But if they did, and they didn't want to deal with their parents, and they didn't want to deal with the religious consequences and the stigmas of it, I'd like that they would be able to go to the local drugstore and say, hey, I need a morning after pill, I need this, I need that, and thank you very much, here's the money, bye-bye. Hasta la vista. You know what? I'm all for it. Let's see now. Among the other things that the federal government has stopped so far, the TSA has stopped nude scanners. You know, those full-body scanners that you would have to go through at the airport? Those are gone, or at least they will be sooner than later. Apparently, it's been determined that the 250 or so machines have been removed as about 3 weeks ago, before the June 1st deadline set by Congress. Apparently, it was determined that it was too much of an invasion of privacy. Yeah, I'm sure that's way better than just being patted down by the fat dude at security who barely has a high school education. I'm sure that's way, way better. I had no problems with the machines. I want everybody to check out my junk. But those will no longer be used. At least that's what they say. But what will continue, which I thought was really amazing, is that TSA has decided to maintain its ban on pocket knives. Oh, goody. They needed a study on this. They needed to research this. They needed to figure this out. They needed to somehow remember that 9/11 occurred with a bunch of guys using, box cutters. So yeah, pocket knives would qualify. They needed to take time and effort to figure this one out. Oh, and by the way, there was another gang rape in India. Did you guys know this? Once again, another gang rape. I don't remember ever in my life hearing about Indians in India committing any type of bizarre, weird, violent crime, but apparently they cannot stop themselves from raping foreigners in their country. Maybe because they felt raped themselves. Who knew? And to end this particular segment, a scientist, one Barbara Sherwood Lawler, has discovered that nearly 1.5 miles beneath Earth's surface in Canada, Scientists have found pockets of water that they believe to be somewhere between 1 and 2.6 billion years old. The oldest known water in the world. In a related story, Starbucks is suing Barbara Sherwood Lawler for trademark infringement. Bad joke. I forgot the punchline. My bad. In any case, I'm going to take a break right now. Please continue to listen in. We got more coming up. And here's more of, by the way, that first song that we heard today was Time for Smoke by I'm Modular. And this is their next song, Roller Coaster, also again by A Modular. I'm Joe the Shirt. I'm off the cuff, and I'll be right back. And we are back once again with Joe the Shirts off the cuff. Welcome back, everybody. We are here once again. It is Saturday, June 8th. And once again, hey, it's Gay Pride Part 3 Mofos. The party continues here in West Hollywood. And tomorrow, me and my girlfriend, we're going to be out there and we're going to be enjoying the parade and collecting all the free swag and taking pictures and video and talking to people and checking things out. And by the way, when I say free swag, we're talking about mostly lube and condoms. Okay? That's usually what they hand out for Gay Pride. Okay? It's not like they're handing out like iPods and TVs and shit like that. You know, we're talking about condoms and lube. All right? Which is fine. You know, it's fine. Who doesn't enjoy condoms and lube? I know I do. Now, to today's topic, someone you're pissed. Know why? The reason I bring this up is sometime right around the beginning of yesterday's show, I got a write-in. Somebody wrote into me. I'm not going to mention their name, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. Who told me to fuck off Slimeball. They sent me a private message on my Facebook account and told me to fuck off Slimeball. Now, I didn't recognize the name of this person. I didn't recognize the picture of this person, but apparently we are somehow friends through some other people. And, you know, I was like, okay, fine, you know. I wrote back to him. I said, you know, works for me. Hope you die soon and in pain. That's what I wrote back, you know. And then I looked it up and I found out who it was. It was one person that was a friend, you know, a mutual friend with me and this person. Again, I'm not going to mention who because I've already made peace with this. And I was just like, well, that seemed rather odd because I don't know this person in any way other than through this friend of mine. And so I called my buddy and I wrote to him on Facebook and I was like, you know, dude, do you know this person? You know, and he called me back and he was like, yeah, it turns out, you know, that's I said, like the childhood best friend of my dad. And I think he just got pissed off at the fact that he doesn't understand your sense of humor. And I'm like, well, lots of people don't. What's the point of that? And he said, well, you know how you like to go on my Facebook page, you know, and you write stuff. And I know your sense of humor, and I know you're actually giving me a compliment while it seems like you're insulting me. But this guy doesn't get it, so he took it personally, and he's just trying to defend me. And I was like, oh, okay, no problem. And my buddy, he's a complete sweetheart. He apologized to me. He let me know, please don't make a big deal out of this. I'm like, dude, not a problem. I just wanted to check with you before I had a war of words with this individual who I've never met, don't know. Because you know what? I'm the kind of person, if you find something I say or do offensive, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But, if you react to it and then get in my face about it, then I'm more than happy to defend myself and screw you straight to the pooch. Okay, I mean, I will fuck you to the wall if I think you're attacking me, without reason, without any type of rationale. But fortunately, I found out what was going on here and how it worked out, and things are cool. And then, I ignored, I didn't write back to this individual as to, why he told me to go fuck myself, slimeball. And, as I said, I retorted to him, works for me, hope you die soon and in pain. And then he wrote back to me again, go fuck yourself. I didn't respond after that. Didn't feel the need to, because, this guy doesn't understand my relationship with my buddy and doesn't understand my sense of humor. And that happens a lot in my life, by the by. I have, a lot of friends who know me, who've met me, who understand me, and we've become friends because they enjoy my sense of humor, the darkness of my sense of humor. And it's a little, it takes something to get used to, which I hope you guys have gotten used to. But this guy doesn't know me, but my friends do know me. And, I've had other friends offended on their behalf, trying to defend them. And I keep telling them, look, learn to read between the lines and understand that I am actually giving people compliments. If I truly dislike you in any way whatsoever, I don't talk to you at all. I don't acknowledge you. If I love you, I will give you the shit, because that's what buddies do. Buddies, friends, be they male or female, I give my friends shit and I expect shit back. But I also understand now, that a lot of times what you write on, say, on a public page like Facebook or Yahoo or Google or even Twitter, inflections, intonations, sarcasm doesn't always come through for a lot of people. So, my apologies to you guys, but I'm not going to stop being who I am. I'm just going to try to make sure that when I do offend somebody and they give me shit, I'm going to check and see, hey, why are you pissed off at me? I just want to check before I tear you a new one, because I will fucking tear you a new one. I guarantee you that one. But this led me to thinking, to a lot of times, we have people that are pissed off at us or people that we are pissed off at, and we or they do not know why. A perfect example of this would be my stepfather, who I know doesn't listen to the show because he barely fucking understands English, the illiterate dick. And even if he did understand English, I wouldn't give a flying fuck. I hate the motherfucker. I hope he dies soon. Or I hope he gets sick and is in great pain before he dies. Fuck him. I don't give a fuck that he's the father of 4 out of 5 of my sisters. Fuck him. Don't care. He was an abusive, nasty, alcoholic dickhead with severe violence issues. So fuck him. I don't care about him. I don't call him. I don't talk to him. I don't relate to him anyway. Whenever I go to visit, my mother always tells me, please don't, kick your stepfather's ass. I'm like, fine, I won't kick my stepfather's ass. He's in his 60s, for God's sake, and I don't care anymore. I'm just polite to him. I see him, I say, hello, how you doing? Good to see you. And I spend 15 minutes with him in a week-long visit, and then I leave. That's it. But he doesn't understand why I'm cold to him. He really doesn't. I remember I tried talking to him about it, and he told me, when you were a kid, you're a real fucking crybaby. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's because you were kicking my ass. Go fig, It's something that happens. I know parents never understand why their children are pissed off at them, it seems. Children never understand why their parents are disappointed with them. One of my best friends, my buddy Craig, about a year or so ago, got very angry at me, again, because of something I wrote to him in a Facebook message that he took the wrong way. I put it in as sarcasm, and I was kidding, and I've told everybody many times, if there was a list of people who I want to get into a fight with, Craig would be at the bottom of that list, because I have no doubts whatsoever that he would kick the living shit out of me. All right? And then, he came and he confronted me about it, and I told him, dude, I was kidding. I thought, after all these years, you'd know that. And this was somebody I knew, someone that knew me pretty well, knew my sense of humor, but wasn't getting it, on the printed page. Like I said, inflections, intonations, attitude do not come across all that well when it's printed. So, I'm just wondering, is there somebody out there that you're pissed at that is just clueless to the fact that you're pissed at them, or they think that they're clueless. One of my cousins, I know, she has been very, 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 very pissy with me for years now, and a lot of that is my fault because I do not like calling people on the phone. I love to talk and hear myself speak, but I don't like talking to people on the phone very often. And this is somebody I grew up with, someone that I do care about, someone that I do love a great deal, but, we drifted apart, and she has issues with me that I don't agree with, but she's still angry about them. She's angry at me about them. She's angry at my mother about some other related issues. And I'm just like, I have no impetus, no onus to figure them out with her. I really don't. I don't care enough about the issues. I will tell. I say I do care about her. I do love her, but I have no reason or impetus or onus to explain myself to her, which I think is a lot of times one of the biggest problems, one of the biggest issues when it comes to this type of issue, when you're pissed off at somebody and they don't know why, or somebody's pissed off at you and you don't know why. The other person or any person feels the need to explain themselves to the other. It's it's like being in a fight with your significant other. If I have to explain myself, if I have to explain to you why I'm angry at you, then I don't know where this relationship is going. A lot of times that's one of the reasons people will be pissed off at you. They'll be pissed off at you even more because you don't know why they're pissed off at you. So it's a no-win situation until somebody says, okay, what's this about? What do you want to talk about? Why is this important? But getting to that point requires that somebody cares beyond the fight. And, in a lot of cases, I really fucking don't. I don't care enough to get into it, It's like, it's not that I don't care about the person. I just don't care about this particular issue. I don't want to talk about it. I'm just avoiding it. Maybe, it's too painful for me to talk about. And a lot of that when it comes to, like, say, my stepdad, yeah, it's too painful. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to start talking to him about it because I'm afraid I'm going to, pick up an aluminum bat and, smash his brain into the wall. And then I end up in prison for the rest of my life. Unjustifiably, because I felt I was justified in beating his brains into the wall. Oh well. I'm going to take a very short break here. We're going to come back because I promised I'm going to talk about more gay pride today, and I'm going to talk about movies. I promise I'm going to do both when I come back. But now I'm going to take a break with more A Modular, and their song, I'm going to Feel Like You Tonight. Well, let's find out. I'm Joe the Shirt. I'm off the cuff, and I'll be right back. Joe the Shirts once again back and off the cuff. Told you I'd be back quick. I wanted to talk a little bit really quick about gay pride. I've talked a lot about it this week. It's a big deal. It's going on here in West Hollywood, and I'm very happy for it. Now, one of the issues that I brought up the other day really quickly was the fact that the last lesbian bar here in West Hollywood is closed now. They're gone, which is kind of ironic and sad considering it is gay pride. But one of the things that caught my eye in the article that I was reading was the fact that, the reason you have lesbian bars or gay bars for men is so that you can have some place that you feel is your own. I believe this goes against the grain of overall human integration. And that is the tease I'm going to give you, and I'm going to get back to on Monday. That's the last I'm going to talk about gay pride for today. Anyway, now we're going to talk a little bit about movies. We're going to talk about an article written by one Steve Johnson. Steve Johnson does not like Star Wars. That's fine. Lots of people don't. For every person that you know that loves Star Wars, worships Star Wars, has every movie on Blu-ray, DVD, VHS, reel to reel, whatever the fuck it is you have, and they have the Star Wars figures and the toys and the Legos and the video games. For every person that loves Star Wars, I guarantee you there's like another 50 that, doesn't give a shit. And that's fine. But Steve Johnson here is a little pissed off at the fact that he feels as if that he is expected to know Star Wars references when they're made, either to him personally or on a TV show or in a movie or in a song or in a video. And I'm like, well, you know what, dude? While Star Wars may not be for everybody, it's big enough that it's going to be mentioned by way more people than those who saw The Age of Innocence and love it. And if you haven't seen The Age of Innocence, haven't heard of it, I am not surprised. But there are people that love it, and I hate it more than any other film on the planet. Now, I am not angry with Mr. Johnson on this one. I agree with him. I think that there are some movies out there, a lot of movies out there that become what you call cult favorites. They become part of our vernacular, become part of our culture, our pop culture, and people are expected to know what it is you're talking about whenever you mention it. For instance, The Big Lebowski. I had a very good friend of mine. Her name was Hillary. Loved The Big Lebowski. She loved the dude. And I watched this movie at least 3 different times, and I thought the movie fucking sucked. Okay? Big Lebowski sucked. Anchorman sucked. Was it Dazed and Confused? Sucked. I'm sorry, I thought these movies sucked, but some people treat them as the gospel. And thus I understand Mr. Johnson's point of view on Star Wars. You know what? You say Star Wars to me, you ask a trivia question, you make a quote, I guarantee you there's a really good chance I'm going to know what the fuck it is you're talking about. All right? But fine. But then on the other side, when you have your little cult classics, don't be surprised when I tell you, yeah, that shit sucked. Now, moving on. Let's see here. Now, a lot of you probably saw Django Unchained. I have not seen it yet. I'll be the first one to admit it to you. Now, I love a lot of Quentin Tarantino films. I love Jamie Foxx. I love Leonardo DiCaprio. I love that weird German-looking dude that was in the other Tarantino film. I love these guys. I think I'm sure I'm going to enjoy this film when I see it, but I didn't go out of my way to go see it at the theaters. When it comes on free on cable, then I'll go see it. Now, apparently, the Chinese government was not thrilled with Django Unchained. Apparently, the film has only made in China $2.75 million, which is a complete pittance compared to, say, the $163 million it made domestically here in the United States and the $424 million it made globally. So you're wondering to yourself, China is the second largest movie market in the entire world. How is it that it only made $2.75 million there, but made $163 million here and $423 million worldwide? Well, because on the day that it opened, April 11th of this year, of last year, excuse me, my bad, of last year, the Chinese government pulled it. China's State Administration of Radio, Film, and Television, also known as SARFT, SARFT, pulled it because of content. Apparently, they had issues with the portrayals of sex, violence, nudity, torture, and killings. And thus, Quentin Tarantino and his crew had to go back in there and edit a lot of that out of there, leaving the movie with a grand total running time of about just under 23 minutes. Okay, that's not true. According to the official reports, they only removed 3 minutes of Django Unchained from the Chinese version. But then when they released it, it was, a good over a month later, 2 months later, May 12th, when they released it in China, and thus, it went up against, a couple of other big blockbuster hits like Iron Man 3 and Tom Cruise's Oblivion, and also The Croods, which falls in place with what the Chinese government likes to do. The Chinese government does not like foreign films being overly competitive with domestic films, which is why the Chinese government also pulled The Croods from theaters after just, are you ready for this, 2 weeks. The Croods has generated nearly $65 million in ticket sales since April 20th and release in China, grossing the second most money in China in an animated film since Kung Fu Panda 2, which holds the record at $100 million. The reason they did this was to give homegrown Chinese animated films a chance to compete. The move was widely seen in China as an effort to leave more box office revenue for local Chinese animated films released this month. For instance, Happy Little Submarine 3, Rainbow Treasure, and Cuba 2. Cuiba, Q-U-I-B-A 2. This is nothing new in China. China likes to what's it called here? Likes to do a lot of double dating when it comes to foreign films coming into their country, so that this way, homegrown films, homemade films, have a chance to compete against imports, which is bullshit. To give you an example of this, the same weekend that The Dark Knight Rises came out, so did Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, and the same week that Ice Age Continental Drift came out, so did The Lorax, and again, like I said, Django Unchained had to go up against, Oblivion with Tom Cruise. And then we're going to find out what's going to happen when Man of Steel comes out on June 20th. China basically wants to even out the playing field for its own movies, also known as cheating. Happens a lot in the movie industry, but more so in China than most. The Chinese like to tell you that it's because of, culture, morals, ethics, but more often than not, it's because the homegrown studios, want to make sure that they can make some money to put into the Chinese government's pockets. Yeah, that's right, I said it, China. Come over here and get me. Now, continuing with movies. We only got 4 minutes left here. Everybody loves 3D movies. Well, no, not everybody. I don't. My girlfriend doesn't. I think they're, more often than not, just a cheap ploy. The last 3D movie I actually really enjoyed was Avatar, and I gotta tell you, it's been a while. But there are a couple of the movies that have come out and will be coming out soon in 3D. Come September 20th, you can go see the original The Wizard of Oz in 3D in select theaters across the country, celebrating its 75th anniversary. I'm not going to go see it. I don't like the color version of the fucking movie. I prefer the original black and white, which is what I watched when I was a kid on the 13-inch TV set that my family owned in our one-bedroom apartment in the Bronx. So you guys want to go see it in 3D and IMAX or whatever, you go ahead. Now, if you think that is sacrilegious, some of you may have watched on Thursday at 6:30 p.m., I'm talking about this past week here, in select theaters across Los Angeles and the country, Swan Lake live in 3D. What they did was perform Swan Lake, record it, and then broadcast it to theaters so that you could see it in 3D with 3D glasses. And if you went out and did that, I understand that we're trying to appeal ballet to a culture, a modern culture, a generation that really doesn't give a shit about ballet. But yeah, I gotta imagine there are some composers and writers turning over in their graves and cursing James Cameron straight to hell because he was, in fact, involved in it. And finally, while we're still talking about movies, let's talk about revenge porn. The Senate Public Safety Committee approved a bill that would make it a misdemeanor to cause a person, quote, substantial emotional distress or humiliation, end quote, by distributing pictures of the person that are of sexual nature without the subject's consent. So basically what they're saying is if, you and your boyfriend break up, or let's say you break up with your boyfriend, that's usually the case, and your boyfriend's pissed off at you, and he takes the sex DVD or videotape that you guys made and puts it on the internet, well, now, you can legally go after him. Good luck, though. It's, for what I can tell about this particular bill, it doesn't have any teeth. And finally, see, this one actually does piss me off because I talked a lot about, how I don't like the idea of California enforcing condoms on porn actors. Well, an adult film actor has been sentenced to jail for knowingly exposing at least 2 co-stars to syphilis after testing positive for the disease. He knew about it. The defendant, Jesse Spencer, 42, who works under the name Mr. Marcus. So if you know who Jesse Spencer is or Mr. Marcus, don't have sex with him. Pleaded no contest to one count of exposing another person to a communicable disease. He was sentenced to 30 days in jail, 36 months probation, and 15 days community service. Apparently he was caught because he went and he took a test. He tested positive for syphilis. He got the penicillin shot. It didn't take. He tested again. He altered his test before he performed in the movie, had sex with 2 women. They were exposed to a syphilis. They didn't get syphilis. They don't have syphilis. They're fine. But, now he has to spend some jail time, community service, and whatnot. What a dick. Anyway, thanks for listening. That's my time for today. I'm Joe the Shirt. I'm off the cuff. And here's Aim Modular once more again and their song, Drugstore Days.
Walking down the streets I stray.